Good morning. We're going to get started on why if you're feeling overlooked and you're not getting the promotions that you want. Sorry, I've got some tech here that's not working. But if you are finding yourself overlooked, but you're overperforming, so you're probably working very hard, getting all these great results, then this is going to be a training for you. So I want to dig into this because I have found over the last 4.5 years that I've been working with a lot of women in leadership that they are so incredibly talented. They are getting amazing results for their organization, and still they're getting told either it's not the right time right now for you to get promoted, or you haven't really proved to us that you have got that leadership presence or that leadership capability. And so it's like, wait maybe till next year or maybe the next round, you'll be ready for it. So what we find is I've found all these ambitious and high performing women in mid to senior level leadership roles that are just like, I've done everything I was supposed to do. I'm getting results. I'm meeting my KPIs, and somehow it's still not enough. And this is leading oftentimes to a lot of self-doubt around like, well, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'm really not that capable of being able to be that leader at senior leader. So what I wanted to share today in this quick training is all about how you can go from being invisible, unseen, overlooked to being the person, the go-to leader that they come to. If like, hey, not just because you're a great fixer and a great doer, because you have the strategic insights, you have the vision for the future that makes you a fantastic sparring partner for within your organization, and also leads to you being the name that comes up for the next round of promotions of like, there's a new position, there's a new leadership position. There's no doubt it's your name's the first one that comes up for that. So if you're the type of woman and you're in a leadership role and you're keep running around, keeping everything going, fixing all those fires that happen, because hey, I've had my fair share of firefighting when it comes to my time in corporate. So I know that this happens. You're stuck a lot of times in that operational day-to-day, managing that between mentoring your team as well as hitting your KPIs, that there really isn't any time left to be thinking about strategy, even though you really, really want to. So when it comes time for those promotions, those bigger opportunities for more leadership visibility, yeah, it isn't your name that comes up, but somebody else's. So like I said, you have likely had a couple of these things happen. You've been told, well, you're not quite ready yet for that next level. Or you've been said like, hey, you're doing a fantastic job. Just keep doing what you're doing. But there's no promotion. It's crickets when it comes to a promotion. It's crickets when it comes to a salary raise. It's kind of like, well, okay, I'll just keep going on with what I was doing. Or, and this is the worst of all, like I said, there's lots of self-doubt that oftentimes I've seen creep in where you've kind of thought about, it's like, well, maybe it's just not right for me. Maybe I'm just not capable of doing it. Or this idea of like, you know what, if I really want to get to that next level, I'm going to have to work even harder. Am I willing to sacrifice even more of my time to just get up climb the ladder one extra step? And so often that answer is like, I don't know if it's really worth it. Or again, I don't know if I'm really capable of that. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to spend extra time, more time in working more and doing more in order to get that promotion, in order to get that salary raise. So again, let me say this very clearly. Your hard work doesn't get you promoted. What does is visibility. It is having you being recognized throughout the organization, whether or not you're in the room or not. Your visibility is going to ensure that. Visibility is equals also influence. How do you get resources? How do you get things done in the organization? So what I'm going to share with you today are 5 visibility power moves that you can implement now. And I tell you, the women in my leadership accelerator and my clients, they use these on a very regular basis because it is what is getting things moving. It is ensuring that they are being seen and that they're getting promoted. So, for example, one of my clients had decided, in order to get back in after a layoff, to get back into work and get back into really contributing in a corporate role, she took a role that meant taking a pay cut. But the best part of it is, after 6 months within this organization, she went from taking a pay cut to being elevated and promoted 3 levels above to becoming head of division. And I can tell you, she used every single one of these visibility power moves I'm sharing with you today. So let's dig in, okay? Because I want you to, first of all, challenge this story around, if I work harder, that's going to be the key. Because if that was the case, you'd already be running the show. Because realistically, look around you. Are there other people that are working incredibly hard and are still not getting promoted? Probably, right? You might even be commiserating with them on the Friday afternoon, drinks, and thinking like, I've done so much hard work, and yet it's still Bob who got that promotion. Sorry if your name is Bob. I'm not picking on you specifically. However, what happens when you are all about like, I'm going to keep working harder, I'm going to take on extra projects. You know what? I'll stay late again and work through the weekend. What you're really doing is you're showing that you're a fantastic workhorse. You're a great person that can implement, but you're not the strategist. You are adding value, but you're not being recognized for it. So, hey, you might be bringing great results. I had a client that was bringing in extra clients, was delivering huge process improvements, which were leading to significant contributions to the bottom line, but was not recognized for it. She walked into a performance review and got told like, we're going to put you on an improvement plan because things aren't going very well. And she was shocked. She's like, but I've done all of this and this and this and all of that. And I've got all these results for you. And her managers just had never even, didn't even know she was doing that. So in this sense, you've got the foundation, because every single woman that I work with, they are fantastic leaders. They get results. They are extremely good at implementing. They are also very good strategists. And they are very capable of leading, but have not positioned themselves as a leader when we start working together. And to be honest, promotions don't go to the person who does the most. They go to the one that leadership trusts to lead. So let's get into what is it that you could start to do. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to share, just checking my notes here. I'm going to share my first visibility power move that you can do. And this is going to be around really looking at positioning yourself, but networking with the right people. So before your eyes start rolling at me, because I know there's so many women that I've worked with that are like, oh God, I hate when it comes to networking. Here's the thing. We're not going to just network for the sake of networking. We're networking in order to find sponsors and advocates who will actively advocate for your promotion behind closed doors, who will actively advocate for you to be put on and lead those high visibility projects and initiatives. So now it's time for you, the first part that you get to do, if you're wanting to use this as a strategy, this first power move, is to start identifying key stakeholders and executives who have influence to open those bigger career doors for you. And a great place to start is to start looking at the leaders, colleagues, other other senior executives that you've already worked with in the past and that you have already delivered results. So have a conversation, reach out. Most of the time, these individuals love opening the doors for others. So you want to start to build those professional relationships and really actively seek them out and manage them, demonstrating that also that your expertise can help solve some of their strategic pain points. Now, when I had one of the accelerator clients, she started doing this. She started seeking out sponsors, and she was starting to see results like within 90 days, because not only did she ensure that she was actively managing and cultivating sponsors and advocates within our organization, she was then, without even her knowing or even asking for it, was being talked about in meetings and was being assigned very high profile, highly strategic projects. And this happened again within 90 days of her starting this. I think it was even less, to be honest. Now let's talk about power move number two. Sorry, number 2. This is the 3 times meeting strategy. Now, here's something that I want you to think about. If you are used to being just like, oh, well, I'm just going to let people talk. I'm waiting for someone to give me permission to speak. You've already lost the game. You're already showing that you're not really leadership material. So find a way to interject, to speak up at least 3 times in every meeting. And you could make this very simple. Right? I'm all about, let's not overthink this, because if you're overthinking, if you're trying to go through a whole checklist, just like it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't really suit, and you're going to need some time to practice. But here's what you could do. You could come up with, for whatever meeting you're going into, is thinking like, I want to come up with one question that I can ask on this topic that's important, that also shows my strategic leadership or my strategic vision. I'm going to share one insight. Now, one insight, this could be a suggestion, this could be an idea. And if you wait till the last visibility power move that I want to share with you, there's also a way that you can use that insight to incorporate your own results and start really dripping your expertise. And the third thing you could do, or the third reason to speak up, could be around, hey, I have a suggestion. This is a future, like forward-looking suggestion that you can insert naturally during your conversation. Now, as an example, one of the clients, Angela, she used this and she implemented this, and she stopped being this silent observer that was in the meetings. That kind of just like things went by. Sometimes you feel like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Or it's like, I don't really have the expertise to add to this, so I'll just stay quiet. Well, once she started doing this 3 times to speak up during a meeting strategy, in just a few weeks, colleagues were calling on her because she was the person that had the ideas. She was the person that was bringing in the strategic solutions. So I know this works. So this is power move number 2, the 3 times meeting strategy. Power move number 3. And I'm going to call this Achievement Radar Showcase, because within the accelerator with all of my clients, I have them work through an achievement radar, which you can do this as well. But this is a running collection of all your wins, all of the metrics, the results you've got, any kind of feedback that you can use to highlight that your impact that you've had throughout your organization at any point in time. So please make sure you are starting to track this throughout, like, every week. Every week, for example, I ask all of my accelerators, they don't have to, but they get asked to fill out a weekly tracker. Why? Because you are accumulating results and wins on a daily, on a weekly basis, not just when it happens on an annual basis for your annual review. So let's stop waiting for that annual or quarterly or biannual review time. You want to maintain a running log of all the things, of every achievement that you've had, big or small. And make sure you also are being specific in this. Include numbers, the cost savings, the contributions, who you were leading, how big was the team, what were your leadership successes. Now, one of my clients, who's also in the accelerator, used this achievement radar in conversations, in one-on-one conversations with their executive leaders. And by using this and showcasing the achievements and results she was bringing, this allowed her to make a really successful argument as to why it was time she needed to be on higher visibility projects and more complex strategic projects because she could deliver the results. And this wouldn't have happened if she'd simply been waiting for her annual review or simply going like, you know what? My hard work will speak for itself. Someone's going to notice. So there's power move number 3, the achievement radar showcase. So you want to be highlighting all of your achievements, your wins, and any kind of positive feedback on a very regular basis. Visibility power move number 4. Let's talk about your weekly update emails. We want to command those. We want to leverage these regular status updates that you're giving by saying like, hey, you know what? This is a moment that you can start sharing your strategic wins. So what happens is you start to see a consistent, a tangible evidence of your contribution. And please don't do these vague things like we finish all our tasks on time. You know what? That's a given. You want to be sharing high impact statements of like, you know, we increased revenue by X amount. We were able to secure a new client agreement. And you always want to include something that shows you that you're already thinking about the next step, that you're already planning ahead. So whether yes, I've said here, you can do it weekly. Sometimes we do it, you might think like, oh, weekly emails, like let me do it like every other week or something like that. But there's really good, works really well in doing a consistent campaign of increasing your visibility, but also ensuring that the people that need to know are being told. And then here's my favorite power move of all is what I call the boardroom whisper technique. Now, my clients swear by this because the boardroom whisper technique is all about how you can confidently interject your own ideas into those high-level meetings. But you're not only interjecting your ideas, but you're also sharing at the same time your expertise and building up your authority that people see you as not only just a problem-solving authority, but also as a go-to leader to spar with, to provide strategic direction, to provide leadership. And the boardroom whisper technique is a very structured way to make sure that your voice is starting to resonate in those high-level meetings without having to shout or fake a personality or a way of speaking or being, overly aggressive or overly loud. It doesn't fit with you. Because I'm all about, and inside the Leadership Accelerator, inside the Leadership Edge Academy, we're all about creating a leadership style that fits with you and really highlights your natural ability, while also that it is positioned you in such a way that you are still seen as a powerful strategic leader. So this is all around creating succinct, powerful statements that frame your idea as being indispensable to the company or the organization's goals. Now, Ryan, another fantastic accelerator. I have the best clients, I will say that. Ryan used this, and she was using this power move, this visibility power move, and within 2 months, one of her VPs had singled her out for a special project. And she was finally being seen as that strategic voice in the room. But it only happened because she implemented the boardroom whisper technique. So as you are finding yourself going through, I'm thinking like, okay, oh my goodness, I've got 5 different power moves. I want you to think about this. Pick one and start doing one today. And you can incorporate the rest as you keep going. But what you will notice in each of these power moves, each of these visibility power moves, none of them have to do with you working even more. But it has to do with raising your profile, raising your visibility. Now, if you're starting to think of like, oh my God, I really want this, but I don't know how to make the shift in my environment from, my head down, working hard, hoping people are going to notice, and try and avoid burnout at the same time, But I don't want to start sounding like I'm doing like a huge amount of self promotion, that I'm bragging constantly, that people are like get sick of me, because we've all been there. We all can identify the people like, oh my God, there they come again. They're going to talk about, they're going to brag away. They are so arrogant. Listen, this is exactly what I help women leaders do inside the Leadership Accelerator. It isn't about working harder. It's about finally being seen as a high level strategic leader that you already are. And I've got something for you. So I've shared 5 today, but I go into a little more detail. Plus I share a couple of extras in a free guide that I've created for you. So if you want to access that free guide with with the exact strategies that women leaders like my clients are all using very successfully to be seen, to be heard, and being promoted without having to work harder, I want you to DM me visibility. So you can drop it in the comments, wherever you want to show it. But I will then send you over this PDF guide for you, and you can check out what it is. Like, what are these moves that you could start making? And I challenge you to start making one of them, start incorporating one of them. It is going to start making some difference today already. All right. I would love it if you've got any questions, or if you get results and things are moving along, send me a DM, because I love to share and celebrate your success with you as well. And of course, visibility if you want to get that free guide. And if you're thinking like, no, I really want even more help, I really want to get those exact strategies and have me help you through that and implementing them, you could also DM me ready, and I will reach out and we'll have a conversation about the Leadership Accelerator and what it looks like to work with me. Because again, the women inside the accelerator are getting amazing results. Like one of my clients who went from taking a pay cut, which is there's a whole backstory by that. But it was a very empowering decision for her because she wanted to get back into the workforce, but then has promoted herself 3 levels up within 6 months of starting. And I know if it's possible for her, it is possible for you too. So send me a message. Again, visibility if you want that free guide. And you can also DM me ready if you're like, you know what, I really want to go to the next step and I want to take action now in order to get results, so that I've positioned myself for that raise, for that promotion within the next quarter or the next 6 months. We'll talk to you soon.